profile that covers Nigerian immigration history to South Africa.
Which is why I find myself in South Africa. I arrived South Africa September 9th, 2017.
Honorable Oluwatoyin Oyekami.
I was working in the Bank of Industry, and it was a meaningful job because it gave me an opportunity to contribute to economic development.
Captured today on AIE TV program, profile that covers Nigerian immigration history to South Africa.
An unfortunate incident happened on August 2017 when my only child at the time was diagnosed with leukemia.
This program is focused on the activities of Nigerians in South Africa. Honorable Oluwatoyin Oyekami, the CEO and Managing Director of Jollof Cafe, Chairman, APC, Nigerian Ruling Party, South Africa, former officer, EFCC, Economic and Financial Crime Commission, Nigeria, is our cover today on the profile that covers Nigerian immigration history to South Africa.
My name is Oluwatoyin Oyekami. I am a businessman, and I'm a politician and a philanthropy. Those three variables define my existence, because I believe that we're all political animals, and politics shapes economics. So if you decide not to be involved in politics, that means you're leaving your destiny, your future into the hands of politicians. So it is imperative for people with vision and understanding, clarity, to get involved in governance. Then they are able to shape policies that would affect economic growth and economic development. And these are one of the reasons why I find myself in politics, trying to contribute to the political landscape of the country. Even though I'm in diaspora as we speak, I'm in South Africa, neck involved in politics back home, right from my local government in my state, Osun State, Ifewara, down to Abuja, where I currently engage with, even at the presidency level, we engage in at the party level as well, because we happen to be the ruling party as we speak, which is the All Progressives Congress. And as a leader of All Progressives Congress, South African chapter, I believe that our contribution will add some sort of meaning to the economic direction and political direction of the country by engaging with the ruling party here, even the opposition party here. We do exchange programs, we exchange ideas, we do policy formation strategies to see how we can, align values, align goals. Because Mandela said something very profound. He said if Africa is going to move forward and be totally liberated, he said Nigeria and South Africa must lead the way. Nigeria as the largest market, the most populous nation, and highly enterprising people, and South Africa as the most industrious country and the financial capital of Africa, both needs to come together to shape the destiny of the black man. And that is one of the reasons why I have decided to be part of that, to see how we can contribute our own little faith into total liberation and achieving full economic prosperity for the black child.
Profile that covers Nigerian immigration history to South Africa is an AIE television program that covers the diary of Nigerians in South Africa. This program is focused on the activities of Nigerians in South Africa, high and low profile Nigerians on multidimensional businesses, career and profession.
I cut my teeth working with the government, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, at a very young age. I started working when I was 18 going to 19 in EFCC, and after like 5-6 years there, I decided to further my education, and today I did my first degree in University of Abuja. I did my master's at the Pan Atlantic University, Lagos. The house is the Lagos Business School, and currently doing my PhD in University of Johannesburg, focus on strategic communication and media. And that, as far as education is concerned, And after my first degree, I joined the Bank of Industry to make sure that I learned the dynamics of business support. Because I believe strongly in capitalism, and I believe strongly in entrepreneurship. But idea is nothing without that idea being funded, being given an enabling environment to flourish, being given the right tool needed to support that business idea so that it can achieve its full potential and it won't look like a premature baby. And that's one of the things that I learned working in the Bank of Industry, how to provide facility, how to analyze credit, analyze businesses, and how to promote those businesses so that they have huge markets amongst their target market. So amongst other things that I learned working with the Bank of Industry. So subsequently I started a business called Temp Productions. Temp Productions is a content development company. We started by making films. In fact, some of my early partnerships I partnered with Ayomako AY, the producer of AY Show, AY Live, AY Films. And subsequently I also worked with Kunle Afolayan, a renowned filmmaker in Nigeria who had made quality great content. You know, I remember we worked on a project called Ishedale Yoruba, an Mnet sponsored program where we had to go around the entire southwest of Nigeria to really understand how the Yoruba people came to be and who they are in terms of their values and belief systems. And I also remember working with other independent producers like Moses Iwang and like Funke Akindele, who has now produced the most, in fact, Funke Akindele's film is the most profitable. She's right now the most bankable filmmaker. The last film she made, I think she grossed over 1.4 billion naira.
Wow.
Her second film grossed about 600 million. Her third film grossed about that as well. So she had made film worth more than 2 billion in value, and you can check all the data online. If you go to Wikipedia, check a list of highest grossing Nigerian film, you will see some of these filmmakers that I've partnered with. And for me, they were clear indication of the path that I wanted to take, which is what I'm doing right now. You know, right now we have created a brand called Jollof Cafe. Jollof Cafe is an e-commerce platform that that focuses on distributing Nigerian food, Nigerian groceries, Nigerian drinks here in South Africa and in other southern African countries. And our business model is very simple. We just want to export the goodness of Nigerian food, West African food, to Southern Africans because we believe that Nigerian food has the potential to cure, to prevent a whole lot of ailments. I'll be 40 this year, but I can't remember ever being to the hospital in my life because I eat well and I exercise well. And it's only normal for me to share that with people who I believe what we're doing will greatly benefit. And we've seen tremendous support from the South African community towards our business, and for me that's encouraging because early success is very important. Because I started this business with my partner at the back of my house, and 3 months after I started this business, January 2021, by March I had got my first store in Bryanston at Epsom Downs. And we ran that store as a dark kitchen, cloud kitchen with no front of house. We focused on digital, selling via the digital platform. We have our own system called a Lime Trio that has an app, a website, a WhatsApp integration system. And we're able to reach so many people within a very short period of time, where we opened our second store in between June and July 2021. I haven't opened our first store between March and April 2021, and our second store is currently located at Weinberg, Southampton, where we cater for the Santin community, Santin, Melrose, Rosebank, Ilovo, and everybody within that
vicinity, the community.
Yes, exactly, within that community and all that. 3 months after that as well, we opened our third store in Kyalami, one of our flagship store, and that has been doing greatly well. And right now we currently have 4 stores in Johannesburg, South Africa, in Bryanston, in Santon, in Kyalami, Midrand, and we have one in North Riding. And we'll be opening our 5th store right now in Cape Town. And for me, that is extensively I'm extremely very delighted, because it will give us an opportunity to also showcase the goodness of Nigerian food to tourists, because Cape Town is a tourist destination.
Yes.
And we want people to enjoy the environment and also enjoy the food that we have to offer. And that's why I'm extremely so delighted that we are embarking on that expansion. So as far as Jollof Cafe is concerned, we would say that we've really enjoyed tremendous support from Nigerians and our host community, South Africa. And right now, it's also important for you to know that we are now deepening that business model, because what we have realized that Jollof Cafe as a restaurant, and we have we have a subsidiary called Jollof Mart that sells African Nigerian groceries. We have Jollof Liquor that sells herbal and very efficient Nigerian drinks that are quite healthy. So we have Jollof Cafe, Jollof Mart, and Jollof Liquor. These are different subsidiaries that are performing well in their own right, and the community has embraced them. And what we are now doing is to see how we can extend the business model to benefit other Nigerian businesses. Because I don't believe that when you create an idea, when God gives you an idea, He wants you to help other people with that idea, and which leads me to my philanthropic gesture. Some people will say philanthropy is about dashing money small. No. I believe philanthropy for me is about empowerment. It's about creating economic prosperity that we all can benefit from.
That's true.
And that's exactly what we're doing right now. We've created an e-commerce platform, a food aggregation platform called Jollof World. Jollof World is where every West African trader, if you are a restaurant, if you are a supermarket, you are into anything that you're selling that has a truth in West Africa, can be launched, can be sold on Jollof World, whereby you will have your tablet, you will have your printer, you will process your order, will facilitate how the order leaves your store to the consumer at a very reasonable price, and also gives the consumer the opportunity to choose, to compare prices, to choose variety of from the list of the variety of stores that are currently on Jollof World. And Jollof World is an e-commerce platform like Amazon, like Junior Food,
Amazon World.
exactly, yes. Like Junior Food, like Uber Eats, but this is a specialized and highly targeted platform to create prosperity within the Nigerian community, because charity begins at home. We believe that if you look at the story of Uber became successful in America before it went outside America, and we are benefiting from it today. The Boat Food as well, Amazon as well. If you look at all these platforms, they were tested within a certain community and they became successful, and then they decided to share with other community. And that's the approach we're also taking with Jollof World, which is an e-commerce platform, a marketplace, and highly technical, but with the skill that we have acquired with Jollof Cafe in the last 3 years, we believe that we can share that prosperity with our fellow countrymen who are also trading in food related or non-food related, as the case may be.
All right. When we hear you talking, the words are so sweet. It doesn't always seem as easy as it sounds.
Exactly.
So my question to you is this: you were a politician in Nigeria, working in a very high office with the EFCC and Bank of Industry. How did you now leave that to come to South Africa? Decided to establish this business. What was your interest? How did you start all this?
Okay, thank you very much. I didn't initially start by saying I wanted to live my life in Nigeria, because I was working in the bank of industry, and it was a meaningful job because it gave me an opportunity to contribute to economic development. It's always a thing of joy when you see small micro businesses grow to become large businesses by the support that they get from bank of industry. And being part of such an organization was a thing of joy for me. It was more than salary. But an unfortunate incident happened on August 2017 when my only child at the time was diagnosed with leukemia, which is a cancer of the blood. And he was a small boy. He was 2 years old at the time. And my bank decided to support me to find good treatment for him, because at the time, Nigeria does not have the facility to address that level of ailments. So, which is why I find myself in South Africa. I think I arrived South Africa September 9th, 2017, with my wife and my son, and we headed straight to Parktown Mediclinic, where I was admitted and was receiving treatment. Whilst that was going, I decided to apply for my PhD program, and immediately I did my SAQA, I did everything, and I got an admission within 2 weeks of me coming to South Africa for treatment.
Wow.
And I saw an opportunity to further my education as well, so that I could give my utmost support to my son and my wife. And that was how I was able to process my documents. I got my document processed. I came back finally April 2018 to start my studies, my PhD studies, and to support my family.
Okay, it means you went back home.
I went back home
after the admission.
Yes.
Okay, throughout 2017.
Exactly.
And then 2018 you came back.
I came back.
And your wife and your kid
were here.
Were here.
Yes, they were here in Kyalami, where they were staying in the Chalk House, a house where they cater for kids that has that particular ailment. And my wife was also there. I remember coming back in December 2017 and living in 2018 for Christmas and New Year holiday. But I fully came to this country, full relocation in May 2018, when I started my studies, and then I decided to support my family full time. And that was how the journey started. And after then, COVID hit. We were made to stay at home. And while staying at home, I felt like, okay, as a Nigerian who wanted to eat, they were total lockdown. We couldn't have access to food. My son was sick. And at the time, if you give my son South African food, my son would say, Mommy, Daddy, where is real food? And I'm like, what is real food? This is beetroot. This is chakalaka. This is he would say, no. As a small boy, I think it was 3 going to 4, they would say, Daddy, I want real food in the hospital. And I began to panic because you're in the hospital, there is COVID lockdown. Daddy, where is real food? I said,
excuse me, from that 2017 to 2020, he was in the hospital.
It was in the, it was in the hospital up until 2019 because he passed away in late 2019. But before he passed on, I had a daughter who the doctor advised us that we should make so that we could take our bone marrow or ease our bone marrow depending on what sex of the child, so that we can do a transplant for the baby.
Okay.
So it was a very rigorous, very, very stressful process. So I had him and the daughter, and they will always ask me for real food. They wanted to eat Nigerian food. As little as they were, that's the food they eat, and they're always very satisfied. So when I lost him, we then decided to focus on my daughter, and eventually we had a son. Okay. So both of them, for some reasons, liked Nigerian food. And
it means I think the child came back. He just decided to go and come back.
Exactly. Some people have said that to me, that
yes,
because that he must have come back and he wanted to come back healthy.
Yes.
And yes, and that might be the reason. That might be that we give all glory to God. And and when COVID hit, we couldn't find real food for the family. There was no way to buy good cooked food. There was no way to buy groceries. So I decided to say, you know what? I remember meeting one of my friends who had a restaurant there called Kitchen Vibes. I walked up to him. I said, I would like to be part of this. I'd like you to show me one or two things about this trade, because though it's a trade, but it's also very important for my family to eat well, because I prioritize their diets, knowing that I've had an experience with my son. So their diet is always very important to me. I always don't want them to eat any food that that I'm not comfortable with. So I went to him. I said, so from there I became part of Kitchen Vibes. I bought 10% shares in Kitchen Vibes, and I was with Deji for like a month actively before then, starting Jollof Cafe in 2021, precisely January, where myself and my partner decided to go to Macro, buy a few utensils, buy a few things, and we started selling on Instagram. And
On Instagram?
Exactly. We started selling on Instagram. We started posting the food.
Excuse me, who was cooking the food?
My wife was cooking the food, and I was selling.
Oh my God.
I was selling. She was cooking the food, but it was a good thing because she was cooking for the kids, and she was also cooking for people that wanted to buy. So we decided to share our meal with the world.
With the world. To sell and distribute to the world.
Exactly. But you have to also understand that based on my experience, I've seen a man like Innocent Motors started from making plastic to making tanks, to making bowls, small things. I've seen businesses start by making eggs. I've been part of businesses that were funded by the Bank of Industry, that they will start by maybe 10 beds and 10 beds, small poultry, and it will become a major business. So by virtue of my training, I've seen businesses start small and grow. That's one. And I also have an understanding that the product is what is important. Building a system around any product requires certain level of skill. First of all, identify the product. Once you have identified the product and the product is good, there's demand for the product, there's a market for the product, and then other mechanisms like pricing the product, branding the product, looking for the right distribution strategy for the product, looking for the right processes, promotion, all that will demand my skill later. But I wanted to have a product that is in demand. Because I remember telling my wife that at a time, when I was doing the profile of who I want to sell to, I used myself and my family as a case study. Because I would say to my wife that, let's say I'm the customer, Toyin, you are my wife, we have 2 kids. We're in South Africa, we need food. Either as visitors or as permanent residents. Where do we get that food from? In a way that is tidy, in a way that is good, with a good price, good branding, and in a way that meets our standard. There were other places where people sell food in the downtown, Yeovil, but we feel that if there are 1 million Nigerians in South Africa, there is 10% of that who stays in the suburb, who will not have the opportunity to drive to Yeovil, to drive to Barrier, to go and buy food. So those 10%, they might look like us. So how will they eat? So why don't you create a process that caters for the 10%?
Platform, yes.
So the 90% yes can still go to downtown, buy their food and all that. But remember, the 10% who belongs to LSM, who standard of living is maybe 5 and above, who are in corporate, doctors, lawyers, engineers, business people, who stay in suburb, maybe Johannesburg, North, Sandton, Bryanston, those ones might not necessarily have the time to travel to Yeovil, Johannesburg South, to go buy food. That's one. And secondly, safety is another key parameter. So these are some of the things that we put in place, and I say, okay, let me use myself as a typical customer for Jollof Cafe. A professional, a Nigerian professional who is here in South Africa, either studying or working, or a businessman, but who belongs to a certain class and who is conscious of so many other variables like health, hygiene, and so many other things. So that was the profiling that we made. And we also understand that those type of people, they stay in certain areas. Those type of people, they have access to Wi-Fi, internet. Those type of people, they are not extremely sensitive to pricing. For them, quality overshadows or is more important to them than pricing. So we did our entire analysis and we say, you know what, Toyin, you are the customer. So how would you sell to yourself?
Wow.
So I told my wife, okay, let's start making the food. She made the food, package it, good presentation, good pricing, and let me see if I can afford it or it meets my requirements as a professional. I would jokingly tell her that, okay, we want to sell to people on the island. Say for instance, because we're staying in Lagos, in Lekki. Say for instance, I'll say, okay, imagine we want to sell food to people who are in Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Lekki, and how would you sell that food? How would you package that food? How would you price that food? Compared to if you're selling food to maybe somebody, I'm not saying people in the mainland are not wealthy.
No, I understand you. Like you mentioned earlier, when you go to the inner city suburb of Johannesburg, it's street to street. There are a lot of Nigerian restaurants.
Exactly.
Selling like similar some quality of food.
Exactly.
But the environment is not conducive for people to
go there.
Selling people to go there.
Exactly. Safety, hygiene, and so many other factors and all that. And besides, they might just be busy. For instance, my life right now is so hectic. I'm so busy that I will have to leave my office. I will be driving to Yeovil. Just imagine that. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that was who we developed, we designed Jollof Cafe for. And that was, I mean, in doing that, we were able to grow exponentially because then, we were able to target them in different suburbs that they reside. And then they've embraced it. And secondly, we also understand that besides the Nigerians who, because right now, if you look at our customer profiling, it's about 50-50, 50% Nigerians and 50% non-Nigerians. And who are these non-Nigerians? South Africans. One, the women who are married or dating Nigerians, they buy a lot from us. Secondly, kids who are from the relationship between the Nigerian and the South African. Those kids might have certain alignment. They are Nigerians by blood, but they oftentimes they grow up as South African. Over time, they want to experience their father's culture. And the best place to start is through entertainment and music, entertainment and food. So we then provide them that opportunity to engage with their native food. We also realize that there are a lot of tourists who come into the country to eat and to enjoy and all that. They also, even whilst they are here, they also want to experience that food. Besides that, we also just see our whole, because of what music and Nollywood has done, it has exported our culture. So there are so many people who are not even married, who are not Nigerians, who are not kids from a Nigerian-South African relationship, who are not tourists, who are South Africans that just want to experience the culture, which they've been exposed to via music and movies. And so these are the people that we cater for. And hence, we partner with Uber. And hence, Uber is one of our major partners. People buy a lot from our platform on Uber. We partner with Mr. D. And we've also partnered with, we've also designed our own app and our website and our own online platform where people can order, either pay with their card or pay with cash, or pay online, through PayU and other platforms that we are currently using to facilitate our business. So that's the journey of Jollof Cafe.